Imagine a world where you walk outside at night and see not one, but two moons shining in the sky. The night is brighter, the shadows are different, and the world feels like a more magical place. This sounds like something straight out of a fantasy movie, but it's a question scientists love to explore. What would Earth be like if it had two moons? How would life, our weather, the oceans, animals, and even human civilization change? Today, we are going to explore every part of this fascinating idea in a way that is easy for anyone to understand, uncovering how two moons would completely reshape our world. When we think about our moon today, we see it as a quiet, calm, white circle in the sky. But the moon plays a huge role in how Earth works. It controls the tides of the oceans, it stabilizes our planet's tilt, and it affects the rhythm of life for animals and plants. If a second moon appeared right beside it, the delicate balance of our planet would be thrown into a whole new state. The night sky would be brighter, sure, but the world on the ground would feel the difference in countless ways. The first and most obvious change would be the appearance of the night sky. With two moons, the sky would never be as dark as it is today. Even on nights when both moons are just slivers, the world would still be bathed in more light than we're used to. Cities might be able to reduce their street lights on certain nights because natural moonlight would brighten the roads. For our early ancestors, this would have been a game changer. They could have traveled and hunted more easily at night, seeing more clearly without fire. Human civilization might have even advanced faster in some ways, simply because darkness wouldn't be such a barrier. This brighter night world sounds peaceful, but it would also bring major challenges. Many animals depend on darkness to survive. Some are nocturnal hunters that use the cover of night to catch their prey, while others rely on the dark to hide from predators. Two moons would dramatically reduce that darkness, confusing many species and disrupting the food chain. Animals that come out at night might have to change their habits completely. Birds that migrate long distances using the moon's light for navigation could get lost, as their internal compasses would be thrown off by the strange new light patterns. Over a very long time, nature would adapt, but many species would likely struggle to survive the initial shift. Now let's talk about the oceans. Our current moon's gravity is what controls the rise and fall of ocean water, which we call the tides. With two moons pulling on the Earth, the tides would become far more extreme. High tides would rise much higher, and low tides would fall much lower. In some places, the waves would become stronger and reach farther inland. Beaches would shrink, and coastal areas would face constant, powerful water movement. Ports, fishing villages, and seaside towns would need to build much stronger defenses against the water. Boats and ships would have to navigate entirely new and more dangerous patterns of water flow. The oceans would become a more wild and active force, and anyone living near the coast would feel its power every single day. When the oceans change, the climate often changes with them. The combined gravitational pull of two moons would tug on Earth in different ways, which could affect our planet's tilt. Earth's tilt is what gives us our seasons. If that tilt becomes unstable, our seasons could become chaotic. Some places might experience scorching hot summers and brutally cold winters. Rainfall patterns could shift dramatically, causing droughts in some regions and constant flooding in others. Our entire system of agriculture would be thrown into disarray. Farmers would have to scramble to adapt their techniques to a new, unpredictable climate. Some crops might thrive in the new conditions, but others could become impossible to grow, threatening our food supply. Another interesting effect of having two moons is the number of eclipses we would see. Today, eclipses are rare and exciting events. People travel all over the world just to witness a total solar eclipse. But with two moons, eclipses would become much more common. The moons would cross in front of the sun at different times, creating frequent, short-lived moments of daytime darkness. Lunar eclipses, where Earth's shadow falls on a moon, would also happen more often. We might get so used to these beautiful events that they just become a regular part of life. Imagine looking up and seeing a sky with two moons, One of them in shadow it would be an incredible sight, but the two moons wouldn't just affect Earth, they would also affect each other. Their gravitational forces would pull on one another constantly. If their orbits weren't perfectly stable, this cosmic tug-of-war could change the way they move. One moon might drift a little closer or farther away from Earth over time. This movement would be slow, but over thousands or millions of years, it could create serious problems. If the moons pulled on each other too strongly, their gravity could rip chunks of rock from their surfaces. These pieces might eventually form a ring around Earth, similar to the rings of Saturn, but much smaller and closer. While this ring would look beautiful from the ground, it would also be dangerous. Small rocks could regularly fall into our atmosphere, burning up as bright streaks of light a constant meteor shower. In a world with two moons, human culture would have evolved very differently. The moon has been a source of inspiration for our stories, art, poetry, and religion for thousands of years. With two moons, we would have had double the inspiration. Ancient civilizations might have worshipped to moon gods instead of one. Festivals might celebrate each moon's cycle separately. Artists would have painted skies with two glowing circles, and poets would write about their dual light. Even our concept of time would be different. Our calendar is based on one moon's cycle. With two moons, perhaps with different orbital periods, we would have created entirely new ways to measure months and seasons. Our journey into space would also be transformed. Scientists would be incredibly eager to study both moons up close. With two nearby destinations, space missions might take different routes and have different goals. However, launching satellites would become more complicated. We'd have to carefully plan their orbits to avoid them crashing into the moons or getting pulled off course by their combined gravity. But on the positive side, humanity would have to potential locations for future exploration, research outposts, and maybe even one day, permanent bases. A second moon would open up a universe of new scientific opportunities. Life on Earth wouldn't become impossible with two moons, but it would certainly be a different world. Humans are incredibly good at adapting. We handle changes in weather, our environment, and our lifestyles all the time. With two moons, we would adjust once again. Some changes would be challenging, like the stronger tides and unpredictable weather. But many changes would bring new beauty and a sense of wonder, like the brighter nights and more frequent eclipses. Over time, people would come to see the two moons as a perfectly natural part of their world. In the end, a world with two moons would be a world full of wonder, challenges, and new possibilities. The sky would look more magical, the oceans would dance to a different rhythm, and the pace of life would take on a new shape. Earth would feel like a slightly different planet, but it would still be our home, a place where humans and nature learn to adapt and thrive together. The idea of two moons might just be a thought experiment, but it helps us appreciate just how unique, delicate, and perfectly balanced our own world truly is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into a world with two moons, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more mind-bending what-if scenarios. See you next time.